I think I'm live. And I think this is working. Is this working? If you can hear me, great. If not, I'm sorry. I apologize. We'll just have to take care of it as we go. Actually, let me pull it up on my phone, on my personal account, and see how this is looking and how this is working. Oh, okay, you know what? It's okay. The audio's fine. Okay. All right. Well, let me go. I'm hearing myself delayed. My head's okay. Hey, everybody. How's it going? Thank you for stopping in today on Christmas Day. I really appreciate you being here, you spending some time with me. Let me do something really quick here with my channel and I'm going to get rid of those failed live videos. You will go away. Let us delete you two forever. Hopefully everyone had a Merry Christmas. I know I certainly had a wonderful time. My baby boy's first Christmas, and he's like 10 months old, so he doesn't know what's going on. But his sisters do. His sisters are 13 and 9. So they are enjoying themselves. They're having a good time. Okay. So today I'm getting ready to lay a bunch of track in what will be the paper mill for my model railroad. And I'll show you what I'm going to do. Let me grab a piece of track really quick so you can see. I am making some light rail, or I'm adjusting my rail so that it looks like it's a lighter form of rail. So right here is Microengineering Code 70 rail as it comes in the package. Nice light thin rail, and sorry about the focus on that. And tie spacing appropriate for mainline track. All the track within the paper mill, however, is siding track, and so I want to make it look lighter. So I'm going to adjust the spacing of the ties. So if you can see these two side by side, here is the mainline track with nice tight spacing, and here is the lighter rail track with much thinner spacing. And let me pull the camera back a little further so focus isn't so terrible. You can see the difference in spacing between those two. And so it just makes it this rail look a little bit lighter and make it stand out a little bit from the heavier track. It's a more subtle detail, but what you get is, you get some really good looking track because of that. And how I accomplish this is on the back side of the track, all the plastic ties are sort of molded together. So I just come in here with my rail nippers and I come through and I nip the rails. And I just kind of come through here and just every single one of these rails gets nipped off from the back. And they're still being held to the tie by the nail heads, but they're no longer being held together. And so it's a little bit of a tedious process. We're also going to be getting some turnouts kind of ready to go today as well. And then tomorrow we're actually going to be laying the track down. And at some point this weekend, I'm actually going to be recording a video of how to lay down track, how to glue it down, and how to wire it up. So once you've done a good number of these, I come back and I just take out the occasional tie like that. So you got like these spaces in the ties now. And now I come in and bring this. And this is a little template I made years and years and years ago with a wider spacing for the ties. So I just kind of come in here and I line it up and then I just space my ties out. On this thing, like so. And it just gives me wider spacings. Now, I've just eyeballed this. You can, if you are a stickler for these kinds of things, there is appropriate tie spacing, and I don't remember the inches now. I think the difference between mainline track and siding track as far as tie spacing goes is like 3 inches, which it's noticeable. I've got prototype photographs that show it. You can see it. You can see the difference. But it's hard to measure 3 inches down in HO scale. So what I did was I drew it. I took a look at some photographs and I drew it and said, yeah, that looks about right. And then just used it. So I've just eyeballed the spacing on it. And it works good enough for me. If you have questions or comments, please feel free to add them to the chat. They should pop up. If not, I'll just quietly work here on my own, talking to myself. I'd play Christmas music or something, but it would just get copyright infringed, and I would get in trouble. So play your own music in the background, and I will be listening to the podcast or something as we do this, you and I. I think I'm going to do 3 pieces of flex track and 2 switches. We'll call it a stream. I'm very happy to be able to get 2 weeks where I can do this. I'm actually still sending my kid to daycare during this time, so I'm paying somebody a not insignificant amount of money to watch my kid so I can stay home and play trains during this time, which is kind of funny. But I've got a dependent, what do you call it, like a dependent care account where you pay pre-tax dollars in order to save it for dependent care. So it's already been paid for. Whether I spend the money or not, I'm spending the money, you know. I didn't get as much time this year to work on the road as I would have wanted. But, you know, my goal is to get it in a spot where people can come over and start operating on it by this fall, and that didn't happen. But turns out I wasn't going to have anyone over here this fall anyway. So I got a little bit of a reprieve. From having to get it done. So my goal now is to be ready by the spring. Be ready essentially by the time that everyone's got vaccines. And then I can start bringing people over here to test the railroad out and tell me that I did it all wrong. So I think probably about April or May or possibly into June, we'll be in a spot where we'll be able to get people coming over here on a regular basis. Hopefully nobody's trying to chat and then I'm missing it because my chat window not working or something. Let me do something real quick here. Posting in chat. If you guys can see it, great. If you want to chat, great. If not, that's fine. Ain't no big deal. Has everyone seen the giveaway I'm doing for reaching 1,000 subscribers? I am really excited to have done so. And I wasn't really expecting it to happen because I was at I think the last I checked, I was at around 750 subscribers. And I stepped away from making Monorail videos for a while as I was taking care of tiny child and working on my landscaping on my yard, and then I come back and I'm over 1,000. I guess I had a video that did really well. YouTube algorithms decided to bless me with some favorable I don't know, placement. So that's cool because it was one of my better videos. I'm excited to get back to making them, though. I do enjoy making them. I used to make video content for a living a few years back. And I don't mind it. Some parts I find a little annoying, like the actual editing of videos. I'm not a big fan of. I like seeing a video come together well, but I'm so critical of myself that the whole time I'm doing it, I'm like, oh, idiot! Why did you shoot it like that? Why did you stand there? Why did you say that? Why didn't you just say this instead? Why didn't you bother to make a script? You should write this down before you stand up in front of the camera and start talking at it like an idiot. I start thinking that way. Hey, Dwight. Thanks for stopping in. I'm kind of chill today. I should find some royalty-free music and play it. I tried doing that last time, and then I got DMCA'd over it. Because even though it said royalty-free music, probably not really royalty-free music. So these 2 weeks, I'm going to be finishing out my track work. I'm going to get all that done, which is awesome. I'm going to get my switch machines all hooked up to my staging yards. And, oh, hi, babe. I'm live. Nobody can see it. I've got the camera pointed at the workbench here.
Okay. All right. I'll step back later.
Okay. I'm going to try to get those switch machines hooked up to I've got a controller that essentially will allow me to remotely operate those switch machines from my DCC controller, which should be really cool, but I'm very scared about doing that because I know nothing about making that work. Luckily, there's a video on MR Video Plus, the Model Railroader video site, that shows step-by-step exactly how to do exactly what I'm looking to do. Somebody else had done it first and made a video about it. So I'm like, oh, yes. That's awesome. I'm very happy about that. Hey, Human City. Yeah, I know, right? Hey, baby, just so you know, this is going out to the entire world. Why, right now. Yeah, I like it. I like Trello. I like it. I think probably the one thing I didn't talk about in the video that I did about is the focus getting crazy? It looks like it's holding focus okay. It's hard to tell. The one thing that I always one thing that I found with using Trello that was a little surprising to me was like it felt like a big weight being lifted off of my shoulders. Like somehow taking an idea or like I need to do this, I need to do X, Y, and Z, and putting it somewhere as opposed to keeping it in my head. It's like, oh, I don't have to worry about thinking about that constantly anymore, so I don't forget about it. You know what I mean? Like it's there. Go ahead and forget about it because when you need it, it'll be there for you. And I never trusted myself when I was doing just notes on a piece of paper enough to allow myself to kind of forget about it. Does that make sense? So, I mean, just the amount of like mental weight that has been lifted off of me from using something like Trello has been super nice. Cannot tell you how nice that is. Okay, one down. One down. And one thing I like about this, doing it this way, is it's not super precise. Like if we took a look at this track work, some of these are a little wider than others. Some of these are a little canted at a little bit of an angle, right? So what you get is you get rail that just looks older. And that's kind of the style that I'm going for with this layout. Older track. You know, they're replacing ties as they need, but they can't really, it's a smaller railroad that operates 3 days a week. They can't really afford a nice new track, so they do what they can with what they got. That whole sort of look and feel for how I want to do track work really came from Mike Confalone. His Woodsville Terminal, if anyone remembers that from a number of years back. When I started to get back into the hobby after I'd taken a break for college and stuff, one of the first railroads that I saw that really like kind of made me rethink things was Woodsville Terminal, because it was a smaller shelf style layout. It was like 14 feet long, I think, like, you know, like 2 by 14 or 18 inches by 14, something like that. It wasn't an extremely complex design, fairly simple track layout, but the amount of detail that he put into it and just the overall feeling of like just a little backwoods railroad, I found to be really exciting. Like for the first time in a long time, I saw a railroad that had a personality beyond just, you know, how close can you get it to look like the real thing. Like this thing felt like a character almost, if that makes sense. You know, there's railroads, all the best railroads seem to do that. They seem, when you look at them, you can get a sense of, you know, it's telling a story. So shortly after that, Lance Minheim did one called Brooklyn Terminal, I think was the one that he did at that point. May have that wrong. It was the one, it was the little shelf layout that was like an L-shaped Miami layout. It was in books. It was in MR about the same time. Am I making flex track or just replacing ties? I am. So if you joined a little late, what I'm doing is I have microengineering flex track here with me. This is code 70 flex track. And I am taking out ties. And I'm spacing the ones that remain wider apart from each other so that it looks like lighter rail. The tie spacing that is currently comes with these is good for, your main line. But for sidings, I wanted to get a little bit wider spacing just to make it look and feel lighter. Make it look and feel like the kind of rail you find on sidings. And that generally is the siding, rails that are on sidings are generally wider space than mainline rail. So that's what we're doing here. Throw my podcast back on. There's like 4 or 5 railroads that I really find to be very special in that same way. That's like what Mike Conflin's doing with the Allagash. Utah Belt is one of those. I was supposed to see Utah Belt this year at the NMRA show in St. Louis. And then it got canceled. And that really stinks because I don't know. That's one of my all-time favorite railroads. I've been following it since I was young. And, now I don't know when I'm going to be able to see it. Maybe, I think NMRA shows in San Diego or somewhere this year, out west, I believe. And I just don't know when they're going to come back to St. Louis and if we're going to get to see Utah Belt. So if you're just joining, I've separated the ties on the back. Show you right there. I've just took the little snippers and snipped the plastic behind the rails. All these ties that were molded together are now separated and just holding together by the rail itself. So I go through here and I just pull out the occasional tie. And I have this little template here that I've created right there. And I am just realigning all the ties to that template. And there's not perfectly aligned. Hopefully everyone's having a good day. We bought our son a bunch of train stuff for Christmas. So he's got like 5 new train toys, which is fun. Yeah, he has no idea what a train is. I'm interested to see if he's going to enjoy monorailroading at all. Or if he's just going to be like, well, Dad's in the basement again, doing his nerd thing. It's hard to say. My daughters are interested in watching the trains run, but it's just bare plywood right now, so it's not really cool yet. It's cool to us because we like the models and everything, but we can see with our mind's eye what this is going to one day look like. Part of me thinks that they're just like, what is he doing? I will occasionally show my wife, because my wife is like, she has no clue what any of this is. I'll occasionally show her videos on YouTube of people whose, layouts are like 20 years in. And she's like, is yours going to look like that? I'm like, hopefully. Oh, I don't mind that. As if she minds what I got right now. We were watching Close Encounters of the Third Kind, and there's famously a model railroad in that one. And it's in the living room. So I was like, can I put mine in the living room too? No. I feel sorry for the family, honestly. I couldn't imagine having a model railroad in the living room like that. Just this giant table sitting in the middle of your living room. And you got glue and crap all over it, and just you kind of need a room. When I started using DCC, did I have any problems with locomotives buzzing? And if you did, what did you do to fix it? I did not. Locomotives buzzing with DCC? What DCC system and what locomotives are you using? I will say this. A buzzing locomotive generally means, what I have found is that there's some power being applied to the motor. So it may not really be doing anything, but it thinks it wants to do something. And so it is like, it's sitting there kind of waiting to do stuff. I have heard some buzzing with my locomotives. I will say that. Kind of like a low hum. What I would probably do, if I were you, and it sounds like you might, if you think you might need some help with it, is to reach out on, actually, the first thing I would do would be I would go to the Monorail Hobbyist website. So it's MRH, just search for Monorail Hobbyist or MRH magazine, something like that. They have a really good forum and a really good community of folks over there that know a ton. So go into their DCC section and do a search for, buzzing locomotives and see what you come up with. You might get your question answered really quickly just by searching to see what others have said. If you can't find it, just leave a post in the forum explaining what is going on, and I guarantee you somebody will have the answer. Those guys are really, really smart over there. I am dumb when it comes to DCC. I understand the theory behind it, and I kind of know what's going on with it, but like it's bad. Like I don't like. I have an ESU cab control system, which I really, really like a lot because it makes a lot of the stuff that like a dumb guy like me would get hung up on DCC. It makes it so much easier because it just kind of takes care of a lot of that for you. And programming is very easy using the cab control system. So up to this point, though, like I've only ever really just pulled my locomotives out of the box and like set them on the tracks and just ran them like as is, as the manufacturer has made them. I may like occasionally, I've put together some consists, I've done like little things like that. I'll turn the volumes down on the speakers as well, so they're not so loud, just because they kind of blare in my mind. Like I prefer quieter DCC locomotives, but yeah, I'm kind of the wrong guy to ask about that. My theory is that there's some amount of power being applied to your motor, and that's giving you that buzz. And it may be an adjustment of the speed steps that fixes that for you. I don't know. But those folks over at Monorail Hobbyist magazine, the forum over there, they would know, and they'd be able to help you out for sure. Who won the DCC giveaway? That will not be decided until mid-January or January 20th-ish. I'm going to do a live stream where we randomly choose a winner at that time. I'm going to keep that video up for a month. Let anyone who stumbles across it and wants to enter. And then a month from now, we will be picking a winner. I'm excited to be giving it away. Can I put another tie back on here now that I pulled it off? Probably not. No, that's fine. 2 down. I'm going to do one more. That should be enough. One more should be enough to get me all the flex track I need for that paper mill. I have got I've got a little bit of flex track, folks. I bought way more flex track than I need. Because like I have this thing where like I'm always concerned that a company will go out of business and I'll lose my opportunity. I won't be able to buy their product anymore, and I won't be able to complete a project because I didn't buy it when I had the opportunity. So like I do this thing where, okay, this is all code 83. I do this thing where I just buy a lot of stuff. So like I've got extra turnouts. I got lots of extra flex track. I don't intend to ever use it all. Like if I find that I have used it all, that means that like I didn't buy enough. So I'm trying to determine if this is code 83 or code 70 here. Code 70 and code 83 is close enough that like eyeballing it, I can't really tell the difference. Like I gotta kind of get them together and be like, no, it's code 83. Okay, looks like I gotta open up a fresh code 70 pack. I'll let you guys in on a secret since you're here. I don't know if it's a secret, but I've got a proto throttle ordered. And it is on its way. It's shipped. It's working its way over to me. And I am super excited. Oh my gosh. I had been watching. I watched every video on YouTube about a proto throttle. I listened to every podcast that talked about proto throttles. So I am excited to have that in my hands. I bought upgrade toggles or whatever you call them. I've got a brass one and a red one for the brake, so it can look nice. I'm excited about that proto throttle. That was my Christmas gift to myself, was that proto throttle. After kind of a crummy year all around, I thought, you know what? Treat yourself. So I have questions about it. I'm a little unsure about some of it. I mean, a lot of it has to do with the fact that I just don't know a ton about DCC myself. I believe I can program everything through my ESU cab control throttle. So I think I can get the benefits of programming my locomotives through that thing. And then I think I can use the proto throttle once I've programmed the locomotive in a proper way. If I'm wrong on that, well, I guess I'll find out. I guess I have to learn DCC. There's some tricks you kind of got to pull in order to really utilize some of the features that the proto throttle has in a proper way. So I got to figure those tricks out. But I like the concept a lot. I like the idea of being able to really get a feeling of operating a locomotive, in a proper prototypical way. Especially on a layout like mine, where you've really only got one operator, one or two, I guess. You could have a conductor and a brakeman, an engineer. But when it's a layout that's not made for 20 people to work on, when it's really one crew, doing one job, I think something like a proto throttle well, I should put my camera in a better spot so you can see what's going on a little bit easier, shouldn't I? Oh my gosh, look at that. So much better. Holy cow. What was I doing this whole time? Well, the focus is all funky. Yeah, see, I can't do this because the focus is all weird. I guess we're going to have to go back here. So I may be reaching out to a couple of guys who I know that have it and be like, hey, how's it going? I know we're not really like friends, but do you mind being my friend for a bit and show me what I'm doing wrong with this thing? I should be able to figure it out. I'm a smart guy. That's what my mommy tells me. Not my wife. My wife doesn't tell me that, but so many little cuts. Not the most exciting live stream today, but you know what? Sometimes model railroading is just a lot of this. But at least I'm making progress. And that is the biggest thing, is just doing it. Just sitting down and just doing it. Doesn't always have to be exciting, as long as it's just getting done. And when it's done, it's so satisfying, knowing that, like, hey, I did something. I did this thing that I hadn't done before. I didn't know if it was going to work, but it does. That's one thing that monorail has over a lot of other hobbies. Is a lot of hobbies, monorail encompasses so many different techniques, and you learn different modeling techniques, and you learn how to build things with wood, and you learn about electricity and scenery techniques, and just general modeling, painting. I didn't do a very good job. There's a lot of other hobbies out there that, like, say, like miniature war gaming, where you're painting up armies of little miniature monsters and stuff to fight each other. That stuff's really cool. There's some amazing dudes doing some amazing job painting things in that hobby. It's kind of all you do. You kind of just put paint on stuff, And when you're done, you play with them, which that part's cool. It's not much different than what you're doing with model railroading. When you're doing an operating session on a model railroad, it's kind of a game, right? Feels very game-like to me anyway. But with model railroading, you got so much more involved than just painting figures. So I'm trying to decide what kind of video to do when I get that proto throttling, because I want to do an unboxing video, but because it's probably going to be a little bit before I really am running it on a normal basis and really getting a good. I want to do a review on it eventually, but I want to know what I'm talking about when I do the review. So I think I'm going to do an unboxing, go over some of the questions that I have. I'm sure other people will have with the unboxing. I'm curious just how large it is. Some people say it's not that bad. Some people say it's kind of too large to hold in one hand. It doesn't seem that big, but we'll find out. I'm curious about the battery situation because it uses AA's, which generally don't hold a ton, don't last forever. People say they can get a couple of work sessions or operating sessions out of a set of AA's, which would be nice. I mean, I got a recharger, so I'd be curious to see how long it lasts. An operating session on my layout is going to be, I believe an operating session is going to be about 2 hours, depending on how much of the operating I want to be doing. It could be an operating session on my layout could be as short as 1. It could be as long as probably 3 if I slowed it way down. I have some options with how I want to do operating. Like, if you'd like, you can pull. At the interchange, you can run all the interchange traffic. You can actually have trains come through and pick up the freight that you leave out there on the interchange for them. That's part of the operating session. Or you can just drop off the cars and call it a night there, But I'm curious to see whether or not the Pro Throttle will last that long. My ESU cab controller does not last more than a few hours before the battery starts going low, and that's a little annoying to me. And it also doesn't hold a charge. Like, if I don't run it for a month, I will pick that controller up and it'll be dead. Even though I thought I turned the power off on it, and I just don't know if the battery just doesn't hold a charge. I don't know if it's a bad battery. You get about an hour and a half worth of operating time on it before the battery goes dead, maybe 2. So I don't know. Alrighty. Ta-da! I now have 4 pieces of flex track ready to go for the mill. Now, the next step will be to work on these guys. And all I'm really going to do is I'm going to wire up the frogs. Have those ready to go. And I'm actually going to do that. My wife is calling me. So we're going to do that off camera. Because it's been an hour. It's been 57 minutes. That's long enough. It's a little bit of a slower work session today, guys. But I do thank everyone for stopping by and saying hi. Thank you again for doing that. Appreciate it. I'm going to do a little bit of work on this. I think probably tomorrow I'll do another live work session where we're actually going to lay all this track down on the cork. So that'll be an exciting one. Maybe. Merry Christmas to you, Dwight. Thanks for stopping by. Thank you, everyone, for stopping by. It's good to do these live sessions again, and I had some fun. It's good to just be making content. All right, folks. Thanks again for stopping by. Have a Merry Christmas, and I will see everyone in another video. See ya.